Cleopatra VII, the last active pharaoh of ancient Egypt, has long been portrayed as a seductive temptress whose love affairs with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony ultimately led to her downfall. While these relationships undoubtedly played a role in her story, to reduce Cleopatra's struggle with Rome solely to matters of the heart is a historical disservice. The truth is far more complex, revealing a brilliant tactician and cunning diplomat caught in a desperate power struggle against the might of the Roman Empire. While Cleopatra's relationships with Caesar and Antony are undeniable, to solely focus on them ignores her independent political agency. Fluent in 9 languages, she navigated a treacherous world dominated by men, securing her own power and Egypt's autonomy. When Caesar arrived in Egypt, embroiled in a civil war, she recognized an opportunity to secure her throne and weaken Rome's influence. Their alliance was mutually beneficial, not simply a love affair. Later, with Mark Antony, she aimed to create a powerful Eastern Mediterranean alliance to counterbalance Rome. Cleopatra's brilliance extended beyond diplomacy. She understood the importance of military might and skillfully maneuvered her forces and alliances. At Actium, she led her fleet alongside Antony against Octavian, showcasing her strategic acumen and personal courage. While ultimately defeated, her leadership and resilience throughout the conflict challenged Rome's dominance. Reducing Cleopatra to a mere pawn in Rome's game ignores her significant cultural contributions. She was a patron of the arts and sciences, fluent in Egyptian, Greek and Hebrew, and a champion of Egyptian culture. By marrying Caesar and promoting her heritage, she aimed to revive Egypt's glory and influence Roman culture in return. Cleopatra VII was not born a queen, but she was born to rule. Born in 69 BC to the Ptolemaic dynasty, she was a direct descendant of Ptolemy I, a general under Alexander the Great. It was a bloodline filled with intrigue, power struggles, and sometimes outright murder. Cleopatra was educated in the royal tradition of the Ptolemies, learning multiple languages, politics, and arts. Her intelligence shone through early, and she quickly emerged as a strong contender for the throne. But the path to power was not simple. The Ptolemaic tradition of sibling marriage meant that she was married to her younger brother Ptolemy XIV when she was 18 and he was just 10. Upon their father's death, Cleopatra and Ptolemy XIII were co-rulers. But Cleopatra was not content to share power, especially not with a child. She quickly dropped her brother's name from official documents and declared herself the sole ruler. This led to a civil war between the siblings, and Cleopatra was forced to flee Egypt. But she was not one to accept defeat. With a combination of political savvy and sheer determination, she returned to Egypt with the help of Julius Caesar. She was restored to her throne, this time as a co-ruler with her younger brother Ptolemy IV, whom she also married. But Cleopatra was the true power behind the throne. It was a testament to her political acumen and determination to rule. Her early life and ascension to the throne set the stage for her later actions and alliances, as well as her enduring legacy. The young queen had arrived, and she was ready to make her mark on history. Cleopatra's return to Egypt and her ascension to the throne was largely thanks to her alliance with one of the most powerful men of the time, Julius Caesar. Their relationship was not just political but also personal. The alliance between Cleopatra and Caesar began in 48 BC, when Cleopatra, then in exile, sought his support to regain the throne. She had herself smuggled into his palace, rolled up in a carpet to personally plead her case. This audacious move intrigued Caesar and marked the beginning of their relationship. They became lovers, and their alliance was sealed. Caesar backed Cleopatra in the civil war against her brother, leading to her restoration as queen. He even fathered a son with her, Caesarion, who Cleopatra claimed was the rightful heir to Caesar's empire. This claim, however, was not recognized by Rome. In 44 BC, Julius Caesar was assassinated, leaving Cleopatra in a precarious position. But the queen was a survivor. She returned to Egypt and began to build alliances with Rome's next generation of leaders. Her relationship with Caesar was a defining period in her rule. It demonstrated her political savvy, her ability to form strategic alliances, and her determination to maintain her power and protect her kingdom. As we'll see in the next scene, this was just the first of her significant alliances. Following Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra set her sights on the next Roman powerhouse, Mark Antony. Antony, like Caesar, was captivated by Cleopatra's intelligence, charm, and political acumen. Cleopatra and Antony formed a political and personal alliance, which was sealed with a grand spectacle known as the Donations of Alexandria in 34 BC. Antony recognized Cleopatra and her children as rulers of various territories, strengthening her position. Despite their political ties, this was not merely a relationship of convenience. Cleopatra and Antony were also lovers, and she bore him 3 children. Their bond was so strong that Antony chose to side with Cleopatra during a military conflict with his fellow Roman Octavian, leading to his downfall. In 30 BC, following his defeat, Antony committed suicide. Cleopatra, heartbroken and fearing her own downfall, followed suit. Their tragic end is one of the most famous love stories in history. Despite the political benefits of their alliance, it is clear that Cleopatra and Antony shared a deep and abiding love. Their story is a powerful testament to Cleopatra's ability to forge alliances and navigate the treacherous waters of power, but it also reveals her human side, her capacity for love and personal sacrifice. In the wake of Antony's suicide, Cleopatra found herself in a precarious position. Octavian, now Rome's sole ruler, had set his sights on Egypt. In 31 BC, the Battle of Actium unfolded between Octavian's forces and the combined might of Antony and Cleopatra. Despite their valiant fight, Cleopatra and Antony were defeated, marking a turning point in the Roman civil war. Following the defeat, Cleopatra was captured and brought to Octavian. The once mighty queen of Egypt, now reduced to a prisoner, was faced with a grim future, to be paraded in Rome as a trophy of Octavian's victory. But Cleopatra was a woman of immense dignity and pride. Rather than face this humiliation, she chose to end her life. The story goes that Cleopatra committed suicide by allowing a poisonous asp to bite her. This final act of defiance and courage cemented her place in history as a queen who lived and died on her own terms. Her death marked the end of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt and the beginning of Egypt as a province of Rome. Cleopatra's death is a poignant reminder of her indomitable spirit and her refusal to be a pawn in the hands of her enemies. Her love for Antony, her strategic alliances, and her tragic end all attest to her complex and powerful persona. Cleopatra remains one of history's most enigmatic figures, a blend of beauty, brains, and bravery.